Alrighty guys, I have already made my problems, and so we're gonna begin working with lesson 16.5. Please check on everything you did as homework, okay? And if anything is wrong, please correct it. We're gonna talk about problem number 1. One model of an actual race car is 12 centimeters long. A smaller model is 4 centimeters long. The hood of the larger model is 3.5 centimeters long. And to the nearest tenth, how long will the hood on the smaller model be? We're gonna have the larger model of the race car. Okay, and then we have the smaller model of the race car. Okay, now if we think about again the characteristics, we have two things that are important: the length and the hood. What is the hood in a car? Well, it's like kaput, right? Like the cover of the car on top of it. So we are going to talk about the larger model, which is 12 centimeters, right? And then we're going to have 4 centimeters here. So that is our first ratio. And then we're going to have the hood to be 3.5 centimeters, and that is the unknown value we need to find. Okay? Now, if you think about it, again, we just need to do cross product. So for us, it's going to be a matter of working with 12x. I'm not going to use the units, so my equation is actually not complicated to work with. Times 4. All right? And so we know that's going to be 12x equals 14, and we divide into 12, so that gets x to be 1.16. Now, if you remember, they said in the problem that we needed to round it to the nearest tenth, so that means this gotta become 1.2 centimeters, okay? So that is gonna be our answer. Now let's go ahead and work on number 2. Problem number 2 is Kaya has 255 car models on display in her shop. She puts the same number of cars in each of 3 display cases, and only 2 of her cases are lighted. How many cars are in those cases? So here we have 2 cases out of the total 3 cases are lighted. And then in terms of cars, we have 255 cars. And we actually need to find how many cars correspond. I'm sorry, my bad guys, my bad. We actually need to work, because 255 is actually down here, right? And that's gonna be x. So we actually need to find the amount of cars that are in the lighted cases, right? And so we're just gonna go ahead and work with the cross product. So 2 times 255 is equal to times x. And of course, we know this is gonna be 510, and that is 3x, and so we divide by 3 in both, and so we know this is 170. So this is going to be our answer. All right, that is it. Now number 3, again, is also pretty simple. Zarina and Chad each collect model racing cars. For every 3 model cars Chad has, Zarina has 5. If Chad has 12 model cars, how many does Zarina have? When Chad has 3 model cars, Zarina has 5. And when he has 12, then we need to remember or determine what we need actually to determine how many cars Zarina has. So it's going to be 3x equals 12 times 5, and that is going to be 3x equals 60, and we know we divide that into 3, so our answer is going to be 20 model cars for Serena. Okay. Number 4 is one popular car model size is 1/24th actual size. A larger model is 1/18th actual size. To the nearest millimeter, how long will the same 1 centimeter part from 1 to 18 model to be on the 1 to 24 model? Actually works with a scale of 1 to 24. And they say, of course, 1 centimeter, but we need to measure it in millimeters. So I'm gonna say 10 millimeters, all right? Then I have the larger model, okay? And the larger model is going to be 1 to 18. And so here, that is the one thing I need to figure out. How am I going to figure it out? Again, I'm going to use cross product, okay? And it's fine. For me, this is probably the problem that everybody got wrong. So just correct it, it's fine. But then if we do the cross product, it's gonna be 1/24 x, and then it's gonna be 1/18 times 10. So we know that is going to be 10/18, because we know this is 1 over here. And I'm going to have just 5/9, just to make everything a little bit easier for me. I just simplified it. And then I need to get x to be isolated. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to work with the reciprocal. Remember, when we have fractions, working with the reciprocal is probably the easiest thing we can do. Okay? Sorry. I wrote it down wrong. We need to use the reciprocal of whomever is next to x. So we need to write down 24 here over 1. If you think about it, we know 24 is actually 3 times 8, right? And then 9 is actually 3 times 3. So I can cancel 3's here. And I'm going to get x to be 40 over 3. 40 over 3, which is actually 13.3 pi-erotic. And since we have to round it to the next millimeter, then we know we're talking about 13 millimeters. So that is our answer. Okay? Let's talk about now problem 5. The Davis family is driving across the country. Their truck's gas tank holds 28 gallons. If they traveled 504 miles on one tank of gas, what was their gas mileage? That gas mileage means nothing but actually miles per gallon. That means how many miles can you travel using just 1 gallon of gasoline, okay? So after that, then we can determine how everything is gonna be written down. So I'm gonna write down my chart over here, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna use gallons here, and then I'm gonna use miles here. So I know that in 28 gallons, which is 1 tank, they actually travel 504 miles, okay? Now, since we need miles per gallon, I need to determine how many miles am I going to be able to travel in 1 gallon, okay? It's that simple. And then we just, have 28x, and that's gonna be, of course, 500, because 500 times 1 is, of course, 504. And then we're going to have this. I already did it, so don't worry about it. It's 18. So we know their mileage is actually 18 miles per gallon. Okay? That's it. Now, if you think about number 6 is actually related to this problem. And what they pretty much say is that they're not going to use the entire tank. They're going to use just 3/4 of the tank, and they want to know what is the mileage for that proportion now. So instead of getting this to work this way, we're gonna also make a little clarification here. Is that we actually need 3/4 of a tank, right? In other words, we actually need 3/4 of 28. Remember marbles activity? Yes, again. I know. And so this is going to be, of course, 3 times 28 divided in 4, which in my count, it is actually 21. So now we have 21 gallons to work with. So instead of we're traveling the same distance in number 6. Now it's not number 5 anymore. Now it's number 6. And instead of, we keep on traveling 504 miles, but now we only spend 21 gallons. That is how everything changes. Because we have, it's pretty much the same enunciate for the problem, but now we're just going to use a different number because we were working with the 3/4 of a tank they stated, right? And so that's the only thing that is going to change, but everything else is just going to keep the same. That means the way we analyze the problem is just going to be the same, guys. And so what that means is that we're going to actually get 24 miles per gallon now, which is actually better, right? It's actually better. And that's it. That's pretty much the lesson. So hopefully you got it all wrong. I mean, all right. Sorry about that. We got it all right. And if you got any wrong, please correct it. Make sure you understand for Thursday's classwork, okay? I'll see you. Bye.